determine the area and perimeter of the rectangle in simplest mixed radical form. So to calculate the area, we would multiply the width times the height, which means that in this particular case the width is 2 times square root of 18 times square root of 32. Now we could just go ahead here and multiply these two radicals. What's going to happen is that 18 times 32, when we multiply those two radicals, we're going to get a fairly large number that equals 576. The question asks us to provide our answer in the simplest mixed radical form. What this means is that we would have to simplify the square root of 576, 18 times 32, which is doable, but it involves a little bit more work. An alternative to doing the simplification at the end, the way I just described, is to do it up front right now. Because what we can do is we can simplify these two radicals at this point, and because these numbers are smaller, 18 and 32, it's going to be much easier and quicker to do it. So for example, the first radical here, so 2 times the square root, and so we want to factor 18 into one perfect square factor, which would be 9, and that will be the largest perfect square factor that we can factor 18 into. And of course the other factor will be 2. 9 times 2 is 18. The second radical, we can factor 32 into 16 and 2. And of course 16 is a perfect square. It's the largest perfect square factor that we can factor 32 into. Now we can rewrite this as 2 times square root of 9 square root of 2 times square root of 16 times square root of 2. And now we take the square root of the perfect squares. So square root of 9 is 3. We get 2 times 3 times square root of 2 times the square root of 16, which is 4, times the square root of 2. Now we're able to combine the coefficients. So 2 times 3 times 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. And then we combine the radicands in the radicals. So square root of 2 times square root of 2 will just be 2. So times 2. And in the final step, we just multiply these together. We get 48. And this is the area. We are not given any units, so we would just write units squared. And that will be our final answer here. Now let's have a look at the perimeter. So the perimeter is the distance around the shape. If we start over here, it's the distance from here, over here, up there, back to the left, and back down to the beginning. So what we have to do, we have to add up the length of all 4 sides. So if we write it in the same notation we did here, it will be the width plus the height plus the width plus the height. And this could be rewritten as 2 times the width plus 2 times the height. All right. Now we can plug in the same numbers we had over here. And of course, we'll be doing the same simplification. All right. So actually what we can do here is we can go straight down to here, right here. Because all we're doing from here to here is simplifying. So simplification. right? So on the left here, we are simplifying the width of this rectangle down to this, which actually is going to be 6. 2 times 3 is 6 times the square root of 2. And this is going to be, the second term is just going to be 4 times square root of 2. So we, instead of doing the simplification again, we can just use this information that we got here. We replace the width by this expression here, which is the same thing as this one simplified. 6 times the square root of 2 plus 2 times the height, and the height is 4 times the square root of 2. And now we just multiply these 2's into the radical. So 2 times 6 is 12 times the square root of 2 plus 2 times 4 is 8 times the square root of 2. Now the last step here is to add these two terms, and because the radicands here are the same, it's 2 and 2, we can just go ahead and add up the coefficients, 12 and 8. 12 plus 8 is 20. And then when we're adding radicals, we're keeping the radicands. We're not adding the radicands. So our final answer here will be 20 times square root of 2 units. And this is our perimeter. So this is our final answer here. And for the area, we got 48 square units.